Thursday, May the 5th, 2022, and this week, although still in the Weald, I'm not in Kent, I'm in East Sussex. Crossed over the border to Battle, the inauspiciously named Battle, and I say that as the war continues in the Ukraine, unfortunately. I'm about to undertake a 12.5 miler, which I last did 13 years ago, one of my very early walks, and back then unfortunately it was in two parts, two 10-minute sections, so clearly not enough was filmed. But today shouldn't have that issue, of course. Got a decent day, a bit cloudy at the moment, decent temperature though, around 17 degrees. Bit of a northerly wind at the moment, or breeze I should say, but that's going to swing round to the south-southeast this afternoon, which is quite an interesting transformation within a few hours. So, as I say, this is a walk I have done before, albeit a long time ago, and one that I'm restoring back into one part today, hopefully. swcwalk30 it is, swcwalk30. So let's press on. 12:30 at the moment, hope to be done around 6, 5.5 hours walking. Let's see. This certainly wasn't here 13 years back. Very decent stone station here at Battle. Come out the entrance, do a left. Can't recall if that development was there 13 years back, immediately opposite the station. Doesn't look like it. Passing the railway pub, immediately at the station entrance. Passing St Mary the Virgin, Battle, on my right. Passing the main entrance to the Abbey. Got the old ancient bonfire site here in front of the Abbey. Wonderful old building here, which I'm assuming is the Pilgrim's Rest, although there's no evidence of it. Private function going on there today. But where this red phone box, I believe that's the road we take. So as you can just about see through the leaf cover, that needs attending to, East Sussex County Council. Got a new sign here. We're now on the 1066 country walk. 16 mile to Pevensey and 15 to Rye. Seven Seas of. There you go. George Meadow and Upper Stumblets, formerly part of the Battle Abbey estate. Livestock are often present in these fields. Well, let's hope that based on previous experiences in recent weeks there aren't any today. So hopefully now we're out into the open country for the rest of the day or the afternoon until we get back into Battle. Nice bluebell wood on my left. Got the old gorse back again this week. Next to this footpath marker where the 1066 divides both left and right, and straight on, sorry, I believe. Yeah, the left turning takes you to Bexhill. That's the Bexhill link. Wonderful, eh? Look at that, wonderful. There we go, horses over there. That's okay. Got the old black caps and chiff chaffs in the background. Wonder if I'll see a house martin or swift today. Unlikely the latter, possibly the former. I've been following page 1 instructions thus far, but they haven't actually corresponded to the route, to be honest. GPS track does, so that's what I've been working with, or will be working with henceforth. Probably the notes haven't been updated recently, I don't know. 2017 I think they were last done. Wonderful song thrush singing over there somewhere. And I'm pleased to read this week that that is making something of a comeback. Having been on the red list, I believe, it's now amber. Whereas, unsurprisingly, the house martin and swift are now on the red zone, entirely down to UPVC soffits, I would suggest. They got nowhere to nest, that's the problem. Man's quest for energy efficiency has put them out of a home, and although boxes can be bought, very few people are going to bother with that. So consequently the poor house martin and swift are suffering big time at the moment. There is the 1066 disc. And interestingly, already I'm starting to notice more kissing gates in East Sussex. I have raised the issue with Mr. Russlin in Kent about the number of stiles over in that county, which as I age, 13 years on, are a little bit of an issue, you know, particularly with a replacement hip. Views back whence I've come. Wonderful walking thus far. Only downside slightly is that there's a seed flying around today. Don't think it's dandelion, but a bit problematic. Gets in your eyes. Other than that, wonderful. Alright, here we go. Other side of the fence, so luckily. And talking of things flying around, it's amazing how much more, or how many more flies are about in the air down here. I bet if you did a windscreen test, driving around and about, you'd end up with a lot more debris on your windscreen than you do up our way, where it's almost non-existent, worryingly. And that is something that has certainly changed in the last 13 years, up our way anyway. Not that I was there back then, but I did go from time to time. Just passing Farthing's Farm, as you can see there. Name that flower, someone. On this bank with the bluebells and cow parsley. So at this juncture, take this finger post left into the woodland. We're now ascending in Hothy Bank Wood on the map. Nice bluebell wood. Looks like sweet chestnut again, based on what I learnt last week. Coppice. First stile of the day, and this looks quite modern. So they've elected to go for a stile rather than a kissing gate, which is interesting. So here we are, Catsfield, where there's an early lunchtime stop for those that wish. Google this if you wish to learn more about Catsfield. So as you can see there, tranquillity is about to be disturbed. Once we get over yet another stile, number 2 of the day. Not too bad, about 150 yards, and there is a pavement there. Now entering the Norman Hurst estate, as you can see. Pretty clear what you can and can't do. So we know exactly when this property was built. Just at the very beginning of World War I believe. So it's not a home for heroes. Built pre-war. White Hart Inn, Catsfield, early lunchtime stop. It's got a nice garden outside, but it's next to a busy road. There's your cooking times. Though that doesn't bode well. Probably a lengthy wait for your dinner. Immediately next to the pub and the village shop. Continue right here, again following the 1066. Little and large here have struck up a bit of a friendship. And another song thrush behind me. Excellent. Passing Broomham Ponds, Hastings and Bexhill Freshwater Angling Association property. Decent walking surfaces thus far. 1066 route is a significant route, so surfaces should be fine all times of the year really. Even though we are in the Weald. I must say I don't remember any of this walk thus far, which is great. It's good to do a walk almost in its virginal state. There are some little slithers of rhododendron I notice that have probably survived a cull. It's good that they are getting culled as well. Interlopers that they are. Bit more down the edge of this wood in front of me. The lovely colours are just not worth the offset of the damage that they do, in my humble. Like most foreign invaders. I don't mind seeing a redwood, because I don't think they do any damage. In fact, they probably add to our species, our biodiversity. Certainly provide nesting holes, as is evidenced on that stump, on that trunk, for bees and birds. More Japanese knotweed deterrent going on here. Interesting Latin inscription there at this lodge gate, lodge house at Stephen's Crouch. Decent view of the downs on my left as I leave Stephen's Crouch behind me. Not sure which downs they are, probably the south, because I am sort of looking north-northwest. Wonderful. Luckily they're on the other side of the field, a good distance from me at the moment. My onward journey's clearly visible ahead there, away from them. Further decent views on my right there. So here's the culprit for the fly-in seeds today. Not sure what it is actually, tree-wise. Obviously a catkin bearing tree, possibly a willow of some kind. Could definitely be a different story in the winter months in parts of this walk thus far though. I've been lucky today, but look how dry it is. And apparently, according to the reliable Met, we're in for a few weeks of dry weather. So it's not particularly looking good for our crops. So here we go. Can't avoid this lot. Need to get across this field. Okay, they seem to be amenable to me crossing their terrain. I'm now on Tent Hill, where there's an information panel. About 250 foot up here, apparently. And there's a bench with an arrow pointing north, I think. And a decent vista. And another herd of cattle. Wonderful section of walking in here. Now we've left the cattle behind. Look at that wild garlic. Black cat behind me, singing. Babbling brook. Classic Wealden terrain this. On the edge of Ashburnham Forge. Fantastic, eh? Couple of, believe they're black caps. I'm not so certain, having made that error with the garden warbler last week. Or at least that's what I think it was. Sheep and a lamb there. Interesting. Maybe they're trying to get a drink. But anyway, yeah, look at this. Fantastic. Look at the way it's cut into that bank over time, revealing the Wealden clayey soil. Brilliant. And there you've got the spring starflower, I believe, bluebells and the wild garlic all in the same area. Fantastic biodiversity down here. Not much jet noise either to report today, thankfully. Another thing I like about the Weald, or most of it. And thankfully it's just sheep to contend with in this field. they are more than welcome, particularly for their beneficial wool. Just observing these beasts, a number of them have got arthritis, can hardly walk, a bit like me really, but yeah, it's not good. They're not really getting the love and care that they need. Just the assets, aren't they? Pounds, shillings and pence over their heads. Poor things. View back whence I've come to One Tree Hill, and it's larger beasts over there now. Well, one element of them is. Cracking afternoon now, though whether I make it to Netherfield or not before stopping is debatable. It's about an hour away, I think. It's coming up 3 o'clock and I am famished. On final view back towards One Tree Hill. That's up in North Downs, isn't it? Where was I? Tent Hill. So if I said One Tree Hill, that's wrong. That's where we were 3-4 weeks ago. On the Sevenoaks Circular. Well, you wouldn't want to be meeting anybody else on that section of path because there's no passing room. Just outside Ashburnham Forge. So having come down this lane for a little bit, do a right here. Wonderful, ransoms everywhere, look at this. And again they're riverside. Talking of rivers, we're coming up to the interestingly named, what was it, Forge Cottage I think it is. Or Furnace Cottage, so you can see the connections with the historical past here. Ashburnham Forge, Furnace Cottage, the old Wealden Industries, iron. So just opposite Furnace Cottage, which is hardly a cottage, do not continue straight up, which is a bridleway, but take the footpath to the right, next to the former Ironworks here. So as I said earlier, plenty of that went on in the Weald in days of yore. You'd never know it now looking here though. Just a bit of water rushing through, that's all. See the colour of that lump of concrete, the old ford there. Luckily though there is a footbridge and I'm stood on it. Onward journey. Looking at that old stile there, I think that would make a good lunchtime stop, you know. Nice and peaceful, because I ain't going to get to Netherfield without flagging, I think. 3:20 as well, so time to eat. As I say, that's as good a place as any. Right next to our path, which is wonderful at the moment. All that colour, lovely purple flower there. Is that bluebell? Yeah, it is. Dear. Right, 5 to 4, lunch has been had. Time to press on. So that stile where I had my lunch was about 6.5 miles in. So round about halfway mark. Lovely view down the valley. 50 shades of green. that gate there doesn't open. You can see the hook at the top there doesn't release the catch, so you have to climb over that one. Now this is a bit more than cuckoo spit. If somebody can tell me what that is, it's about 6 inches by 3 inches. I've noticed it in several places thus far. So that's link wood ahead of me there. But although the 1066 signage has dropped off a bit at the moment, it's through this gap and immediate left along the hedge line. And there's today's first oast. We're in Sussex, but they're still called oasts here, unlike in Surrey, apparently. Lovely colours over there, albeit that they're conifers. Sad to see conifers down in the Weald. Not sure what role they were playing down here. Probably part of the post-war growing period. Certainly a mixed bag of conifers as well. They may well all be natives. So at a point near Little Spray's farm, take this finger post, and I wonder what that information over there is. It's actually about a missing dog. Some glorious views once again of those conifers from a different angle. And the beauty is, I've seen no one else since battle. Often get that in the Weald. Just me and Mother Nature. Exactly how I like it. So here you've got a double whammy of stiles, and both of them in precarious condition. They really need a kissing gate. One kissing gate there would be the answer. I don't see why they've got 2 stiles. Ridiculous. Lovely little pond there on my right. Just as we approach Netherfield. Still no cuckoo today, which is interesting because it's pretty much their terrain, I would have said. So here's yet another rickety stile near Homestead Farm, and as with the last one, I'll report it on Pathwatch, but whether it gets actioned, I don't know. That is a very poorly maintained section of footpath there. Farmer's got an electric fence on one side to stop you going up on his bank, and the vegetation overgrowth there makes it very tricky to avoid walking anywhere other than on the angle. So quite difficult. But the payback is wonderful. South Downs there in the distance, pretty sure of it. In the haze. Fantastic views, eh? It's about 18 degrees now as well, which just adds to the wonderful afternoon that we're having. Another Wealden Wonder this is. Looks like a little orchard's been planted here since I last came through. Wonderful. And some solar panels put up on the farmhouse ahead there. Very self-sufficient place, lovely. Interesting panda faced sheep here. Don't recall seeing those before. This is the high point of the walk, around about 460 foot here. Well, not quite the highest, because I think somewhere we hit 490. Lowest being 49 foot. But the path has been diverted from the GPS track. It would have previously come in front of that farmhouse and the barns, but you're now routed round this field, which brings you to the same point here. So you're back on track, back on the GPS track in this corner. See, there are the old stiles there. So they've taken you round the field rather than across it, because of the lambs and sheep and electric fences. And that is Seven Fields Farm. And so we enter Netherfield, where we have a section of road walking along a pretty busy road from what I can see. Now reach the White Hart. Lunchtime stop, 8 mile into the walk or thereabouts. Has a brilliant view from the garden. Got a very dodgy section of road walking now, 60 mile an hour. Yeah, I thought something was wrong. Got a couple of yards down that busy road and then realised I was on the wrong road. So you actually want Netherfield Road, which passes the post office here. And I think I had my lunch in this wreck last time I was here. Certainly couldn't have made this today, because when I did the walk last time, of course I was starting an hour earlier because I was living in London. So I could have got to Netherfield in time for lunch. Not today, unfortunately. Cracking view, isn't it, towards the South Downs. Kind of view you get from the garden at the back of the pub. Although I didn't actually film that because would have caused a few issues getting access to it, I think. There's also a free house here in Netherfield. A Longman Brewery. Just passing the village hall and recreation ground, and then we branch off right very shortly. So this road into Netherfield is very dodgy. Got an interesting little rural reserve here. And there's a couple of picnic tables handily placed. Not very well positioned for lunchtime stops, but for a cup of tea there's a couple of tables over the back there, which you might easily miss. And this is a very tranquil spot. After the rigours of tackling that road, you could do with a cup of tea here. Wonderful. Today's unfortunate death is a little shrew again. Always seems to be, doesn't it, when I capture these things? Shrews, quite abundant. You never see them alive. Well, I don't. Lots of fallen trees here, plus cattle beyond. Right, the official path is over that stile and through this field, which clearly has cattle in it. So I might try this woodland version. Hope that comes out at the other end. Much rather do a woodland version anyway. So by taking the path through the woodland there, which is well used, albeit not the official route, you avoid these little beasties, who, as I suspected, were in that field, and they're right in the bottom corner near the gate. So there's the bridge stroke cattle, and I've avoided them, luckily. Mind you, they're not shy, are they? No, they're obviously used to humans. So you come to this cross paths with a fallen tree in front of it and continue straight on ahead. Wonderful bit of woodland walking here as the finale. About 1.5 miles to go now, I believe. Passing Pond Bay on my right here. That's the name of this place on the map. Wonderful little property here on my right, and believe it or not, above the or underneath the din of these geese I can hear swifts. Can't see them, but I can hear them. It must be the water that's attracting them, flies and all that, but the swifts are definitely here, so that is wonderful. Cuckoo last week, swifts this week, so just need the house martin now. Wonderful evening view, coming up 6 o'clock. And talk of the devil earlier, I think that's a missile, or was. Now on the fringes of battle. Windmill up there on the hill to my left. Views back just as I enter battle, not literally, but the urban sector. Lovely. Self-explanatory that. Okay, here we are. 13.5 miles I've walked today, which is about 1 mile longer than I was planning. And I did follow the GPX track pretty closely, so no veering off. 5 hours 23 later, and I am once again famished. Very good walk though, did like that, very peaceful, and even at the end here by the railway station you've got a lovely blackbird singing. Fantastic. So yeah, lovely walk, another Wealden Wonder, and highly recommended. It could be, well, I wouldn't do any of these Wealden walks after rain or in the winter, simple as that. Best way to enjoy them is in the drier months of May and September. There are some cattle issues for those like myself that don't trust them. They're back out in the fields by the looks of it, but not in the numbers that they used to be. I'm pretty damn sure of that. One thing that's certainly changed over the last 13 years is that I'm starting to feel these walks a bit more now. I ain't going to get away with getting in my wooden box without a few aches and pains, I suppose. And yeah, as I approach the time of receiving my senior rail card, things are starting to ache. Anyway, just have to shorten the walks, I suppose. But yeah, that one was delightful. Hope you enjoyed that, and until the next time, take care.